guys actually made a ARC review on time. So I can't wait to tell you guys about the book that we're going to be talking about today, which is Two Wrongs Make a Right by Chloe Liese. I believe you say it Liese. It might be Liese? I'm not sure. It's Liese, and I am German, and so my brain is never sure which vowel in a double vowel is the one that you pronounce first, because in German and English the rules are different and it's confusing, okay? So we're just gonna move on. So one of the first things to know about this book is that it is a take on William Shakespeare's play Much Ado About Nothing. Now, that may excite you, it may not excite you, but Much Ado About Nothing, if you don't know anything about it, is one of Shakespeare's like comedy romance plays, so it fits in here, and there isn't really too much, like no one's very literary, so there's not a lot of talk of William Shakespeare. So really this book is just using a Much Ado About Nothing for its general structure and then going on from there. So it's not a retelling necessarily, it's just mostly using the structure. I haven't read a Much Ado About Nothing in a very, very long time, so someone else who's read it more recently might notice more parallels than I did, but honestly, I like read that it was based on Much Ado About Nothing in the description and then promptly forgot it as I was reading. It didn't really mean all that much to me. So here's what this book is. This book is about Bea or Beatrice and West or James or Jamie. They all have a lot of different names. For the purposes of this review, we're gonna go with Bea and Jamie because that's what they're called for a big bulk of the book. Bea and Jamie are two people who have, for a variety of reasons, not been in a relationship for a while. There's definitely some past trauma in there. There will be discussions in this book about toxic relationships, not necessarily physical, but definitely emotional abuse. And so they're suffering from different forms of some stuff that has happened to them, and their friends and family are really, really tired of them being alone. They don't necessarily know the full extent of what has happened to them, and so through some connections, Bea and Jamie now kind of run in the same social circle, and there is this party, and the party is for Jean-Claude, who is Jamie's roommate, and Jean-Claude happens to be dating Bea's twin sister, Juliet. And so there's your kind of connection as this whole family becomes closer and closer. And so Jean-Claude and Juliet and all their friends decide that they're gonna push Jamie and Bea together, except for their first meeting goes possibly as awful as it could. I think Bea manages to dump 3 different drinks on him, like he has to do like a whole costume change multiple times. Plus Jamie, he's a pediatrician, he's a doctor, and while he is able to get along really well with kids, he finds interacting in groups of people really, really hard. He has a high level of social anxiety and does discuss that he is in therapy and taking medication for his anxiety. And then Bea is also not really good at social interactions because she is autistic. And so she talks a lot about how she notices that people's facial expressions will change, but she can't always read exactly what that means. And so also, again, social interactions with people that she doesn't know just really stresses her out. So they both get a really, really bad read on what the other person is trying to convey with how they're acting because they don't know any of this backstory for either of them. And it just goes badly. But Juliet and Jean-Claude, they don't want to give up on this, and so they hook them up with a secret text buddy who they basically use their middle names and pretend that they are not Jamie and Bea, but people going by their middle names. They text for a week, they have a great conversation, and then they go on a date when of course they realize that they have been thoroughly deceived by their friends and family into going on this date with someone that they really, really despise. And so Bea and Jamie, they're like, this is ridiculous. I'm tired of them trying to set me up. I'm tired of all of this. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pretend to date to get them off our backs, and then we're going to spectacularly break up so that they, A, feel like they get revenge against their friends and family, and B, maybe they won't be asked to do this stupid setup, blind date, all that kind of stuff for a while. Of course, as they go through this charade, they begin to catch feelings, and also there's some other stuff happening in the background, but that is the story of this book. I give you this whole long, big explanation because I think one of my main issues with this book has to do with the pacing. But first of all, I just want to say that Jamie and Bee as characters are absolutely adorable. Jamie is a little bit of a stuffed shirt, but he knows he's a stuffed shirt and he really doesn't want to be that way. And so being around Bee really allows him to loosen up. And so Bee has been a painter in her past. However, right now she is stuck. She's not able to paint because she's literally carrying this trauma connected to her making her art. And, she has just been made to feel like she is just too awkward. She doesn't fit in. Her ex didn't like that she was autistic, and she's also pansexual. And, she just kind of feels like she is a collection of really random bits, and that no one will ever like her for all of them. Those two kind of finding their way towards not the people that they want to be, because they really already are the people that they want to be. They just don't have like a lot of sense that they are worthwhile as the people that they are. And so coming together, this book is really sweet. In some places I found it so cheesy. There's a lot of different love or like pseudo love declarations or cutesy moments. So this one is definitely high on the cuteness factor for sure. And so if that is something that you're looking for, you will absolutely find it in this book. And it does have some elements that I like of, this other stuff going on. So, Jamie has his own family stuff that he's dealing with. Bee has this traumatic relationship that she's working on their own, but also together. And then there is some stuff going on in the background with this larger collection of people that have become friends because of Juliet and Jean-Claude, and then Bee and Jamie. And there is definitely some tension, and I don't want to spoil anything, but it does get quite serious towards the end. I think, again, the main thing with this book is that it's very sweet and it's very cute, and I love it for that, but the pacing felt a little bit wonky to me. Between the initial meeting and the blind date that really sets off the ruse of their pretend dating, there's this week where they're texting. This is just a personal preference thing, but if you're gonna do the trope where they hate each other and then they fall in love, I really like watching them do that. And I feel like this book is more like, because they have that texting interval in the very beginning where they realize that Jamie and Bee like talking to each other, even though they can't stand each other in person. There's always this undercurrent once they get fake it together that, they're really just fighting something that's more natural than they think it is. And that's fine. That can be a cute story, and it's definitely a trope that some people enjoy. But I like, the real I can't stand you really genuinely morphing as the relationship progresses, and not like, oh, you've been a really great person this whole time, but I just wasn't willing to admit it. So again, personal preference thing on the trope for me, but it did kind of feel like, because there was this really long beginning, and then with that happening with the deception bit, I was like, just kiss. You want to kiss. You want this to be real. Let's just get through this deception part, which is normally one of my favorite sections. And then the typical ending of the romance novel where something happens and things kind of fall apart. It happened a little bit later in this one than I think it normally does in many romance novels. The joke being it normally happens about the 75% mark of the book. It happens a little later than that. And so that's all collapsing. There's some really crazy character stuff going on, and some characters are kind of given, side characters are given depth at the last minute, and you're like, wow, there's a lot of stuff going on that is clearly setting up another book to follow another pair, but it's just whoa. This book has been so focused on Bea and Jamie this whole time, and now there's just so much going on. So I just felt like the beginning was maybe a little bit too long and the ending was a little bit too short. But again, I don't think that this is a bad book. I think it's a very, very cutesy book. There is spice in it. It gets exceptionally spicy towards the end, but again, there's a long period in the front where it is not spicy, because again, they don't like each other and then it's kind of deception. So yeah, if you're looking for the spice, it's there, but it's gonna show up late as well. So if you want a cute book, if you want a book with characters that are just super sweet and wonderful, and even though they have like the artist and the doctor dynamic, it didn't seem as grating to me as it sometimes does. Like, they both are just really cute and sweet and fun people who really do deserve to be loved as they are. So with all of that being said, this book is an arc. As I said, it comes out tomorrow, and I know already at my library you can put it on hold on the Libby app. You can pre-order it, or you can pick it up starting tomorrow at your local bookstore, your library, all that kind of stuff. So I do recommend it. It's definitely not like the best book I've ever read, but again, especially if you're looking for something that's just like super, super sweet, like a total sugar cube of sweet, that is this book. So might be exactly what you need, as I did right now, because finals are coming and I am tired. So enjoy. If you guys read this book and agree, disagree, have other thoughts and feelings, let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.